Arthur Kingston was no ordinary man. He was a decorated veteran who had once risked everything for his country, earning the respect and admiration of his peers. Over the years, his life had transformed, and he built an empire of wealth and influence. His sprawling mansion stood as a testament to his success, complete with luxurious cars and a reputation that preceded him everywhere he went. Yet, despite all he had achieved, something deep inside him felt unfulfilled. Arthur couldn't ignore the growing sense that wealth had created a barrier between him and the world. He had once known struggle and poverty, the days when survival was a fight as fierce as any battle he had faced in the military. But decades of success had insulated him, and he began to wonder, did people treat others differently simply because they appeared to have less? It was a question that weighed heavily on him, one that led to a bold decision: he would find out firsthand. On a crisp autumn morning, Arthur devised an unusual experiment. He dressed in tattered, weathered clothes that mirrored his days of hardship, an old military jacket, scuffed boots, and a worn hat. Armed with a simple cardboard sign that read, "Need help," Arthur left his opulent life behind for the day and sat outside the towering gates of his own mansion. The irony was striking, a man who had everything now appearing to have nothing. As Arthur settled on the cold pavement, a strange vulnerability washed over him. No one passing by knew he was a war hero or a wealthy businessman. To them, he was just another homeless man, invisible and unworthy of their time. The world he observed from his new perspective was harsh and unforgiving. The first hours were crushing. A middle-aged couple strolled past, glancing at him with disdain before hurrying away. A group of teenagers laughed and whispered as they pointed in his direction, their mocking glances cutting deeper than he anticipated. A jogger slowed briefly to glance at him but quickly resumed her pace, earbuds firmly in place. Over and over, Arthur was met with avoidance, rejection, and outright dismissal. By midday, Arthur's faith in humanity was shaken. Was this how the world treated those who had fallen on hard times? The indifference was far worse than he had imagined, and it reminded him of how easily people are judged by their appearance. He thought of the soldiers he had served with, men who had once been strong and proud but who had returned home to struggle, invisible to the world they had fought for. Just as he began to lose hope, a small, rusted car pulled up across the street. A woman in her early 60s stepped out. Her modest clothing and worn shoes hinted at a life of hard work, but she walked with a quiet dignity. She crossed the street and approached Arthur, her eyes filled with genuine concern. "Are you all right?" she asked gently, her voice steady and warm. Arthur looked up, startled. "I'm just trying to get by," he said, playing his role, though his voice wavered with real emotion. Without hesitation, the woman reached into her purse and pulled out a few crumpled bills. "It's not much," she said, offering them with a kind smile, "but I hope it helps. You shouldn't have to be out here like this." Arthur took the money, his throat tight with emotion. "Thank you," he whispered. Her smile deepened. "Take care of yourself. The world can be tough, but there are always people willing to help. Don't lose hope." As she walked away, her simple act of kindness lingered in Arthur's mind. It wasn't the money that moved him, it was her humanity. She had truly seen him, not as a beggar but as a person in need. For the first time that day, Arthur felt warmth in the cold world around him. Later, as Arthur prepared to leave, his housekeeper, Maria, appeared at the gates. She froze when she recognized him, her eyes wide with disbelief. "Mr. Kingston?" she asked, her voice tinged with both shock and concern. Arthur hesitated before nodding. Maria quickly pieced together what was happening. Instead of questioning or scolding him, she reached into her pocket and offered a few dollars. "You never know what people are going through, sir," she said softly. "If you can help, you should. My mother always taught me that kindness doesn't cost a thing." Her words struck Arthur deeply. He had set out to learn how the world treated the less fortunate, and while he had witnessed cruelty and indifference, he had also seen profound compassion from those who had little to give. Maria's simple wisdom reminded him of what truly mattered. That evening, as Arthur sat in his luxurious home, his perspective had forever changed. He realized that his wealth and power gave him a responsibility, not just to donate money, but to foster a world where kindness and humanity could thrive. From that day forward, Arthur vowed to use his resources to help those in need, inspired by the compassion of strangers and the enduring lesson that true wealth lies in the kindness we show one another. If this story moved you, make sure to like this video and subscribe to King of Tales for more powerful and inspiring stories. What would you have done in Arthur's place? Let us know in the comments. We love hearing your thoughts. Together, we can spread compassion and keep these incredible stories alive.